Lebanon is regaining the faith of bond investors as it struggles to manage one of the world's biggest debt burdens. Now comes the hard work after it finally formed a government. Key is going to be the country's ability to deliver the fiscal reforms required to secure $11 billion in aid from international donors. Joining us now is Ghassan Hasbani. He is the Deputy Prime Minister of Lebanon. Welcome back. It is good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
The government then has come together finally. What's the top priority for you?
Basically, the top priority right now is to get back to work, having waited for more than 8 months for the formation of the government. So basically, we're going to be looking at the budget, looking to reduce the budget deficit in running various programs and triggering a major investment program in infrastructure that covers pretty much all aspects of essential infrastructure in Lebanon to bring back the positive economic cycle and attract further investments into the country.
You just got some support from Qatar. I mean, what other countries are you talking to get additional support? I mean, ultimately, the more the better, really, as far as you're concerned.
Well, the support from Qatar was to buy bonds from the market. So what we're looking for is actually beyond that, to have the confidence of Arab countries and other countries to place larger deposits in the Central Bank of Lebanon, which is something that could happen fairly soon, and to regain confidence in investments and start investing in the private sector as well as supporting the public sector wherever they feel there are good returns. The Lebanese market is a very promising market. There's potential growth. There's a lot of positive dynamics that could happen there that are waiting to happen. What we're trying to do is establish the right framework to create stability, to gain back confidence in investors and supporters.
And are you talking to the Saudis as well? And is there any sign yet as to how much they're willing to deploy in terms of assistance?
Well, these are early days to figure it out, but definitely there was some assistance pledged at the SAD conference in Paris. But potentially there could be some other forms of interest. They may not come in the form of assistance as much as they may be in the form of deposits in the central bank, which are quite useful to maintain the stability of the Lebanese pounds in the mid to long term.
I mean, last year I came to Beirut and I spoke with the central bank governor, Riyad Salameh. The debt issue remains central, as you look to Lebanon's story. How do you deal with the rising burden of debt? What's the plan there?
The idea is to actually reduce the debt service to start with and try to look at ways of reducing the debt overall. Starting with the reduction of the budget deficit, looking at various ways of integrating and introducing private sector investments where the public sector does not actually need or have to spend or manage assets. This is with PPP programs, with potential privatization programs as the laws of Lebanon allow and state. We have various legal tools at hand to use. All of these are under discussion now, and they are part of the government plan in the foreseeable future, be it the electricity sector reform, be it the telecommunications sector development and reform, as well as many other sectors related to infrastructure particularly.
Let me flesh out the point on electricity, because there is speculation that there could be a plan to lease or extend the lease of power generating ships from Turkey. I mean, how much would that cost? Is that a consideration?
Well, this was put at the table in the previous government. It was a contentious issue. The whole idea is to find the best solution on the temporary basis and the best solution on the long-term basis. The priority should be for the long-term basis so that we get the lowest potential cost at the best possible outcome. We also need to make improvements on the power grid in order to be able to deliver good quality electricity and to deliver the entire electricity generated to the people and generate revenues from it. Otherwise, if we don't have the network, we will not benefit fully from the power production. So this entire plan is being looked at by the government now going forward as a priority to find the lowest cost solution and the most effective one to deliver electricity and reduce the budget impact or the negative budget impact from electricity subsidy.
What is the plan when it comes to the second round of some of the licensing developments for offshore blocks. And what are the recommended blocks for that second round? Because there's still question marks about when the Total-led consortium is going to begin drilling in some of those blocks that have been auctioned off.
Well, basically, we've given the license to initiate the work in 2 blocks, and we have put a tight schedule for ourselves to issue the second round on the hope that the actual work will start as soon as possible. There are some contentions around the southern border blocks, but hopefully with the help of the international community and under international law, that would be resolved.
I mean, much of your answers revolve around the idea that Lebanon is ready to receive investments and longer-term capital commitments. Is this perhaps a chance for you to tap the debt market as well?
Well, the debt market definitely is out there. We're trying to manage that as much as possible. It's very important to link sustainable development goals under the UN SDGs 2030 to all the investments that are made in Lebanon going forward, to make sure that whatever is invested is sustained and will not create the necessity for further debt later on. So basically, yes, there will be a need for the debt market, but in a more calculated way, with more transparency, accountability and visibility, so we do not throw good money after bad money.
So if you were a betting man, would you say it's going to happen this year or in 2020? Or?
I don't like betting. I just like to have more confidence in the goodwill that is around there in Lebanon today. Hopefully this goodwill will remain. The solidarity of the government will continue for quite some time to regain this confidence in the country and within the investor community as well.
Let's get your thoughts on a political development as well, because the reaction from some of the Gulf countries to the new government has been quite slow. You have in this government a sizable amount of representation from Hezbollah.
Yes.
Is that going to be an issue for this new political power that is trying to sell Lebanon to the world?
We hope this will not be an issue. We'd like to separate between what the Lebanese people have decided democratically in the elections and what certain parties in Lebanon have as an agenda towards the rest of the world. We as government all together make decisions on the behalf of the country. If individuals have their own decisions or their own way, they need to deal with them by themselves. We will try as much as we can, whatever force we have in our hands, to keep the government consolidated, to keep the work and the decisions of the government as sovereign as possible within our jurisdiction and our powers. So whatever doesn't come out as a decision from the collective government of Lebanon and the sovereign government of Lebanon is not the responsibility of that government. And hopefully the international community would understand that and would support the sovereign government of Lebanon to achieve its goals and be able to move the country forward.